Hi guys! Welcome back to Y'all Hearing This. My name is Kay. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us.
Yes! Hey y'all, my name is Honeybee, or you can call me B, and whichever you choose is alright with me.
That's right.
And welcome back to this week's
podcast!
Yes! It's gonna be different every time.
I love it. We get an ad-lib. It's all good.
Yes! Come on, ad-libs!
That's right. Maybe we'll do some runs sometime.
Right? Oh, God.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming back and joining us. So every Wednesday we pick a new artist or group to focus on.
Yes, we do.
This week we picked EXO, which is super exciting. So every week we do a couple MVs, we do a dance practice and a live, and we do a guide, and then we do our podcast here. So whether you're listening or watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for coming and joining us. We hope you go check those other things out as well.
Yes.
If you're listening, link in the description. If you're on YouTube, there'll be things everywhere, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes, for real though. They will be everywhere.
Yes. But yeah, we had such a good time watching the guide this week. We had watched the Wolf version on Kingdom, the performance. So, but that was the only EXO song you'd ever heard, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was it. And then when we watched
the MVs and the
yeah. And then once we watched the live, the one that stuck out to me was that it was that one where it was like,
Call Me Baby?
Yes! Yeah, Call Me Baby. I love that. That was dope. Yeah. And then the other one was, oh my God, because you started singing it during the guide.
Wolf or Monster? You can call me Monster.
Nope. And it wasn't Wolf. It was something else. There was another song they had performed during their performance.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember the name of the song too, but that was a whole bop too. Yeah. And it just, I don't know, that guide was just hilarious.
Yeah, it really was. They did a great job of it. As we always say, I mean, seriously.
Yes.
And I'll, of course, put the link in the guide video. Absolutely go.
Yeah, shout out to whoever made that.
That was awesome.
I just kind of want to get this out of the way.
Yeah.
Just because it came up at the very beginning of the video.
Yeah.
And we don't, I don't think I know, like, you definitely know a lot more of, like, the ins and outs of, like, the things that are, like, how do I say this? It's, like, the other side of K-pop, quote unquote. Just, like, there's a whole other side of...
I'm very new to K-pop, too, so I don't know how much I know. But
like, what you can give me.
Yeah.
Well, in the guide, it states a couple of things about how I think 3 of the members ended up leaving for, mistreatment and different, reasonings. And
I don't know, because they didn't say in the guide. Like, I'm going to guess that it wasn't from the other members. I think it was from the company.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So if you guys know, please let us know more, because I really have no idea.
Well, I noticed that one of the members, I think that had left, didn't he still rep?
So, that's the thing. So I think we went through just the 9 members. I don't think we saw all 12.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the guide, because I think we only saw 9.
I thought we did 12.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. We have to go through. Honestly, that guide was so dope. We got lost in it. I was here for it.
I wasn't counting.
Yeah,
so
I wasn't either.
I have to look into more for sure.
Yeah.
And please, guys, if you guys are fans and know more, please let us know.
Because
let
us know.
I truly don't know what the situation was. It literally was just a little blurb.
Yeah. I mean, and like,
Yeah.
It could be a fan's, it's the way they see it. It could, you never know.
I like that idea though, because they had originally done subunits, and so they did some in Mandarin and some in Korean, which I think is cool and opens up.
Yeah, wasn't it XOM and XOK or XOL?
Yeah. K and M, and then XOL is the fan name.
Is a fan name, okay.
Yeah. So that's awesome. I love that idea. Plus, it opens up your
demographic, like your outreach.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I'd be here for it.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I truly don't know what happened. This was, when was their debut? Did they say 2012?
I think it was 2012.
Yeah.
We really listened. That guide was so good.
It really was.
Like,
but,
the editing.
It's one of those things, like, it's like little snippets, but like I don't remember it all.
Yeah, and also it was fast
and
too.
This group is very new to me too.
Yeah.
With a lot of other groups we've covered, I at least know a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? So this is truly like kind of our first week that I'm kind of like totally at sea with things. You know what I mean? Like not coming with more knowledge. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely groups that have, had issues. I am blanking on the name, but there was one group that it was only a couple months ago. They were in a totally different country, and there was audio or something of the CEO like horrendously abusing them, and then they left them there without a way home.
Wait, remix.
Yeah, it wasn't this group. I don't know. I can't remember the name.
It was a different group. Yeah.
But yeah, and so obviously they went independent now. Hey, guys, let me know what that group was, because I remember reading about it. But yeah, so there are definitely instances where there are some bad eggs for sure. So it's really important, with these groups that they get into a good company,
And have good people around them.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
just remember Kay saying this right now. It's going to come in handy in a little bit. But just remember her saying, keeping good people, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Sticky situations.
Gotcha.
Gotta be careful what you sign and who you sign with. And just, you you just gotta...
Yep.
Gotta look at the red flags.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like, that was definitely... I'm actually kind of glad that they put that at the beginning of the video just to kind of get it out the way. But after that, I think everything we saw was super dope. Like,
absolutely. Yeah. I love their energy. I mean, I don't think there's a boy group yet that hasn't been completely chaotic.
Yeah.
And we've watched like behind the scenes stuff that's just not utter and complete chaos.
Listen.
And I love it.
It was so good. I think the biggest takeaways I got was obviously their unity as like brothers, basically. How they all are so different. Yeah. They are all completely
different styles, different like all super talented at like everything, but definitely that was.
And also the people that are labeled as lead vocalists in this group. Yeah. Ciao.
Yeah.
The range that these people were singing.
I know.
Ouch.
I know. I know.
He got a note. I said
casually, like on like a show, like a variety show. Yeah.
Just hitting each. I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. And then he was like, oh yeah. And then when he was doing his solo performance, he just held that note and then just let it go like it was nothing, and then just took it down. I
love that more than anything, when someone holds it steady, and then just a little bit of vibrato.
Yeah.
Just to let it.
Yeah, just to let it flow out.
Away.
Yes.
I love it. That's my favorite.
Oh, I felt it, and the rasp came out, and it was just the resonance in his voice. Like, it was so good. It was so good. Yeah. But what was your big takeaway? What did you like the most?
I think getting to see the behind the scenes, because like I said, the only thing I'd ever really watched them was Kai's single, and then Monster. Yes. And so it was very, very sexy, kind of hardcore, kind of blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of nice to see like this, that they're completely crazy. Yeah. Gremlins kind of running around like crazy. You know what I mean? Like, so that was cool. I didn't know one of them was a dad, so that was really cool.
Which also, another point to just kind of touch base on. Yeah. Did not know that it was like that. But actually, I'm not surprised.
It's not all the time.
Not all the time. But just that mindset is very true. And we're talking about in the guide, there's a part where they talk about how one of the members, gets just not so much love for being a dad, basically.
Yeah, there was a petition for him to leave the group and all sorts of stuff.
Which, it's like...
I'm sorry. Like I said in the guide video, if you are a fan of someone, you want them to be happy.
Right. And you support them. And what is that?
I know. And I understand, like, I can understand to a point, especially if it's like super young fans or something like that. You really like love and these groups and blah blah blah, you know, and like you feel like super connected to them, because I feel super connected to the groups I really like. But there's like that line, you know what I mean,
that you don't cross,
that you just don't cross. Like, would I love to date a member of ATEEZ? Of course I would, but
right though, there's a line you don't cross,
right, but that's not going to happen.
Right.
And, you know, like, I know that. But I also want them, if they end up with someone, like, I hope they end up with someone, you know what I mean? And I hope they're happy, and I hope they have kids if they want it. And I hope they get married, and I hope they whatever. Like, you know, the biggest thing is, like, yeah.
It's just, I'm not.
There's a fan, and then there's obsession.
Right.
You know, and I think that's where it kind of tips over. And a lot of them do, like I was saying, do kind of sell that boyfriendy vibe. And like I was saying, there are some groups that have dating bans and different things like that because of that very thing. And
have high security because the little nuances of winking and just staring or having a certain look, like that is a part of the whole package.
Yep.
That is a part of the appeal. That is a part of the draw. So like I see from a business standpoint how it might not be good for the members to be in relationships or have kids or whatever, all this other stuff.
At the end of the day, they have to live their life. Right. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, too,
we
every
as
year.
fans don't own them.
Right. And every year, you know, these maybe the same fans that started with them in 2012, maybe they were teens. Now, fast forward 11 years, those teens are now adults. But all throughout every one of those years, as they were maturing, every year, the same group, EXO, was still getting new teenage fans every year. Yeah. So it's like, at what point are they supposed to keep that appeal to the younger crowd when they're all grown men? Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, it's just kind of like...
Yeah, I don't think they necessarily market them towards teenagers. I shouldn't say that. But
I mean, I do. In a way, when they first come out at that age, I do feel like they're trying to get that demographic.
But it's funny, and it's so funny because it's been going on forever. I mean, Beatlemania.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's just like all different variations.
Fainting.
Yes. I mean, the Jacksons, girl. Listen. Rolling Stones, Beach, like all of them. All of them.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Beatlemania. We should watch like a documentary on that.
Oh, I will watch Beatles anything with
that
you all
would
day
be
long.
Like really interesting to see. Like, or I wonder, you know what? Side note, this would be a really good topic for someone to make a documentary about and it could be any group. Yeah. I'm just gonna say boy bands, just because I feel like that's always associated with boy bands.
Yeah, I don't. You know what's funny is that boy bands, you always think of like screaming teens or whatever, and you're kind of like, oh, that's cute. But when you think of girl groups, you would never be like, oh, a bunch of screaming like guys. Do you know what I mean?
At all.
Like you're almost like when there's guys there, you're kind of like,
listen! Talk about questions.
But here's the thing, like, when we've been watching these, there are so many like girl group like enthusiasts, but they're so cute about it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not like creepy at all. Yeah. But like, if you just saw like a random guy that wasn't like also with his teenage daughter or something, you're like,
So you know what it is for me?
It's so funny, like the duality of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, and so you're gonna laugh.
Whereas I'm like 42 and I'm like screaming about these 25-year-old guys. You know what I mean? It's the same exact thing. I'm not creepy, I promise you. But you know what I mean? Like it could. But
this is the thing though. Now think about that. So you're an adult and they're adults, right? Like. Whatever. It makes sense. Like, if you have a little boy, whatever, that's fine. Like, a crush or whatever. But imagine, this is my whole thing, is imagine, because still in this day and age, like, people focus on the younger generation because they are the future. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So, 9 out of 10 times, most people are gearing towards what makes up the biggest of the demographic, which would be the younger generation. Yeah. Maybe it's like, 14 to 19-year-olds, whatever the case may be. So imagine though, like when I saw that message, it just made me think like, what would I be, or how would I feel if I was a 30-year-old man basically being told that because I'm essentially not maybe appealing to the younger or the main demographic that we're supposed to be reaching so we can continue to grow as artists. Yeah. Imagine being like, you're supposed to appeal to like a 14-year-old. And I'm just like...
I don't know that that's...
No, I'm not... but I'm saying like, I mean, it might not literally mean that, but it appears that way. Because it's like... You like, I mean, because it's just, I don't know. Yeah. It's just a weird thing, because that's how I look at it.
Like that wasn't coming from the company. It was coming from like the fans, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, but that's what I'm saying. As fans, I'm like, it's just weird. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? That's just how, I don't know. That's just how I see it.
I think some people just, especially with K-pop, because there's so much content and because you have so much interaction with them, even if it's not like a personal interaction, you know what I mean? Very few people actually get to meet them and talk to them and everything. But they do have fan calls and fan meets and stuff like that, you know? But still... you almost feel like you're a part of their like lives almost, you know what I mean? So I can see where it can tip over into that. Like, it shouldn't, you know what I mean? But I can understand when it happens. Like, I don't want it to, you know what I mean? But I can kind of, more than like I'd say like Western artists, really. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but
I feel you.
But yeah,
it's just a weird. I just think that ageism within like the music industry, no matter what genre, is such a weird subject because it's like it really comes down to who you are playing for and what you're trying to do. Because at the end of the day, you know, if you try to keep appealing to your same like if EXO still appealed to the same fans from 2012. And now, at some point in all those years, they've grown up. They might like different things or whatever.
And their music has changed
and everything.
Matured. And
so it's like,
as they do.
They have to, go out and try to, gather new fans and appeal to a new audience. And it's just like, I guess in my mind at that moment, it's like, you have to know who, I guess, you're trying, like, I guess as an artist, and maybe at this point, they're like, this is who we're trying to make music for. Yeah. You know what I mean? I
think when a group is together long enough, they no longer are specifically necessarily like, this is who we're trying to target, so that's the music we're going to make. I think they're more like, this is the music we're making.
It is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I definitely at first, absolutely. You know what I mean?
But do you feel like that's...
A lot of the groups have like concepts. Yeah. And they're like going for this group or that group or whatever. But like, I think, I don't know EXO well. But like, I'm sorry, if you're together 10 years, at that point, you're making the music you want to make.
So check this out. So do you think it's easier to have that mindset if you're more of an independent artist? Or do you feel like, or is it like, would it be harder for someone who's signed to like a major label where it's like, I've been here for 10 years, I still want to make what I want to make, but at the same time, they're a part of a big machine. Like, do you think it's harder in that?
I think it would be harder for an independent artist because I think with a major artist, you've got the pull, you've got the reach. Do you know what I mean? Like, if EXO went to their company and went, okay, we're going to make this, and the company went, no, they'd be like, all right, then we're done. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you sell millions and millions of copies of records or whatever, you kind of have more, say, you have more influence. You're
of course.
You're able to do more, you know what I mean? So I actually think it would be easier. Now, if they went like a total... like, you know what I mean? That might be different. But that's also why they do, like, solo stuff and whatever. You know what I mean? If they want to, like, kind of go off and do something a little different.
I guess in my mind, I feel like it would be harder as, like, on a label. Just because I feel like...
It depends on the label.
Yeah, it depends on... I think it depends on the label.
Depends on the label. If you... It depends on your contract.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's just so many more aspects that come into it.
I think,
but it would make more sense to probably be more easier on them. I don't know. Yeah. You know what it is? It's just because I know, like, you guys know us. We love going down rabbit holes and like looking up different info. Like, we like to just be immersed in all things of knowledge and whatever, whether it's K-pop or just music in general.
But you guys will definitely have to let us know.
Yes, let us know.
As like fans, like, how did it grow? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
But I think like going down the rabbit hole and just looking at and hearing so many different things about major labels versus independent and the freedoms and stuff like that.
There's definitely, I know, I think it's two sides. I think if you have a more independent label, you have more freedom when you're starting, I think. I mean, I think altogether. To do kind of whatever. And I'm going to again use ATEEZ as an example. I'm sorry, they're my ultimate.
This is almost like a say what moment. This is like a good say what conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
We might have done say what a little early. It's okay. Exactly. It's okay.
So like ATEEZ was in a super small company.
Yes.
Same with BTS.
Yes.
They were in a super small company. Now BTS definitely had a concept. So did ATEEZ. You know what I mean? But they were able to totally come up with like their own thing. Do you know what I mean? Because for a really long time, actually, KQ just announced that their trainee group is just got their name and stuff, and they're going to debut soon, which is cool. They're called Xikers, Xikers. But yeah, they've been, so when ATEEZ first started out, they were the KQ Fellas because it's KQ Entertainment, and they were KQ Fellas too.
I love that.
But anyway, that's going to be fun. I can't wait. Their song is so good. It's called Tricky House. But anyway, so I think they had a lot of freedom because they were under such like an independent company. You know what I mean? So they could really kind of do anything, especially with BTS. A lot of them had a lot to do with the production and the writing and stuff like that. And ATEEZ, there's a couple members that do that too. Whereas it's super strange that like a huge company like JYP let Stray Kids do that. You know what I mean? And and the way they let them form and the way they let them kind of do. But there are a lot of companies, like if they have a certain concept or whatever, like a big major company, they put a group together for a certain reason, a certain concept, a certain whatever, and that's how they're going to market it. So I think like there's that pressure at the beginning to debut, because also you have to remember there some of these big companies could have hundreds of trainees. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And for you to be able to debut is still
it's like
you can be accepted into a company and you still aren't guaranteed to debut.
I mean, look at who was it for 7 years?
Chan. Long time. Yeah. So
you know what I mean?
You know, so you I'm sure there are people that have been like, okay, I'll be in that group to debut. Do you know what I mean? Right. You know, that it might not have been like their total thing. You know what I mean? Right. I don't think anyone would do like something completely opposite, but
right. If they like chill, that's so dope. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that whole like the guide, EXO's guide that we watched, it made me think about that. Like it made me like that one comment, but like it just opened the door. You know what I mean? It just made me really think, like,
and I wonder, too, are they still with the same company that they debuted with? I don't know. It didn't say they moved, because I really want to know more, and I'll have to look up more about the Chinese members leaving and things like that. Yeah. I don't know. I thought they were under SM, but I could be totally wrong. So I'll have to look that up more. I don't want to talk about stuff I just don't know. Right. I feel you. But yeah, that was really interesting to know. I didn't know that at all about people leaving.
Yeah, that's interesting. It just it just makes you think. Like, I think it just makes you think about the pressure that comes with it. You know what I mean?
So much. I can't.
On top of like being that fucking good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But working at being that good.
For real.
You know what I mean? The amount of work that goes into that. You know, we always talk about like people just standing there and opening their mouths and doing whatever, but there's thousands of hours of work behind that. You know what I mean? Like just vocal lessons and warm-ups and dancing and
look, scrapes, bumps, broken bones, vocal, whatever. Yeah. Just the mental, all of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
So it's so cool when you see a group. I mean, they've been together, over 10 years, so...
Dang, that's a minute.
Yeah.
That's awesome. A whole decade.
That's awesome.
Well.
Yeah, let's get into our newest segment.
Yes, our new segment is called B's Nectar of the Week. Yeah. Come on! She said Nectar of the Week. Yes, gang! You better sing. Yes. So this is a segment, I can't. This is a segment where I'm going to give you guys some suggestions of popular groups that we maybe have heard outside of the K-pop realm. And so if you are looking for something out of the K-pop realm that you want to relate to EXO for this week's episode, that's where I come in and I give you a suggestion and we're going to talk about it.
I'm super excited.
So
hear who you picked. I gave a little hint and I'm titillated.
So this group, okay. This group, I'm just coming with the heavy hitters because I feel like all these K-pop groups are just coming with the heavy hitters. I'm like, damn, we gotta find something to match this energy.
I know. I'm excited to hear because I can't imagine.
Kay be trying to get me, girl. She was like, find something like this. I'm like, oh. So I was like, as I was watching EXO or whatever, and I was thinking about their vibe. They have this special thing about them where they could all be completely, and as we saw in the guide video, and as you will see when you watch the guide video, as you should.
That's right.
Okay. They each have something very special about them individually, but there's something that's magical when they come together, which is like, it's like, you could say that about a bunch of different groups, but there's always that one group where you're looking at it and you're just like, how does that work? Yeah. Like, and it's just like...
definitely could see they have all different personalities and all sorts of stuff, especially in the guide, And
it's just like, they're so different. And then even like when they're talking, they're different. But then it's just like the second they open their mouths and they start moving, it's on. You know what I mean? It's like turning it off and on. Yep. And so I was thinking of a group, and this group came to mind because they were like that. They were actually during a time where there was another major group on the same management and label as they were that got released ahead of time. They blew up. And now you have these people who are coming in to like coming behind them the same exact way that this other group blew up. So now not only do you have to debut and have that same special thing that like I saw with EXO, you have to have that same special thing. And on top of that, solidify your own fan group. You know what I mean? Yep. So the group that I chose for this week is none other than NSYNC.
I had a feeling. I got a feeling.
Yes! Yes. So I chose NSYNC. And it's just this group, I don't know, specifically with like the things that they were going through, EXO was going through, or at least what it said in the guide. Yeah. Allegedly. That's what I say. Allegedly. NSYNC went through their own kind of, trials and tribulations too. So here's the bio about NSYNC. NSYNC is an American boy group that was formed in Orlando, Florida in 1995, and they were launched in Germany by BMG.
Can I tell you one quick fact?
Yes.
I went to middle school with Justin Timberlake. He was a grade below me in Millington, Tennessee. I didn't know him at all or anything like that. But yep. I remember very vividly when they they announced it in a school announcement when we got onto the Mickey Mouse Club. I've never told you that before.
If y'all listening could see the disrespectful eyes, I am cutting like a motherfucking Thanksgiving turkey, girl. The eyes.
I can't even look at you.
You can't.
Sorry. Oh my god.
Oh, whooping. Bitch, what you mean? Yeah. You went to. Bitch, we gonna take a selfie. I'm about to send it to Justin Timberlake and be like, you remember her? She was a grade above you. She congratulated you when you made it on the Mickey Mouse Club. She remember the whole announcement. It was Mr. Overvee on the phone. The principal's name was Mr. Overvee, okay? Yep. Oh my god, that is crazy! Yep. Did you even talk to him?
I don't remember.
It's so long ago. Yeah. Can you imagine being like, I don't know if you remember, but we went to middle school together.
I'm sure he doesn't.
And he'd be like,
we never had classes together or anything like that.
Right? Yeah. Maybe lunch.
That's my claim to fame.
I'm here for it. Let me find out. You extra. Look, I ain't even got no hair. I'm over here wiping the hair like I'm trying to talk. Listen, I'm dead. My story's stupid now. I don't even want to talk about it. We're going to talk about you. No, we're going to talk about this right now. God damn it.
That's the end of my story. There's nothing more to it.
There needs to be more.
The ghost of Justin Timberlake.
That fucking Ouija boy.
See last week's episode.
Oh, God. Can't stop forever. Oh, Lord, Jesus. Okay.
Sorry.
That's a ghost of
Ramen hair is coming down.
All I'm picturing is roasted chicken ramen.
That's right.
No, sir. Listen, Justin, no shade.
No.
We love you. But that was the whole time.
Hair. Yeah.
We all had it.
It was all crunchy.
Listen, sometimes if we wanted to switch it up, we had a shrimp pack one week.
That's right.
Listen, I know he stuck with the chicken.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was that bright yellow.
That's
so,
right.
okay, so. So NSYNC is an American boy band that was formed in Orlando, 95. They were launched in Germany by BMG. The group consisted of Justin Timberlake, JC, Chavez, Chris Kirkpatrick, Joey Fatone, and Lance Bass.
That's right.
After heavily publicized legal battles with their former manager, Lou Pearlman, and the former record label, Sony, and BMG, the group was finally able to kind of get out of that. And that was right before their second album came out. So their first album was huge. They had a bunch of hit songs on there. And the songs off that first album that remind me of EXO specifically is I Want You Back, Tearing Up My Heart, My Heart When I'm With and they also have this song called I Drive Myself Crazy. And I Drive Myself Crazy specifically reminds me of EXO just because of the vocals and the harmonies and the whole shebang. So definitely listen off their first self-titled album, NSYNC. Listen to I Drive Myself Crazy, and I think it's called, like, in parentheses, Thinking of You. So for the second album, after all the legal battles happened, they were kind of going back on that idea of knowing who you sign with and all that stuff. If anybody that's listening to this podcast, if you are thinking about getting into music, if you are thinking about doing anything, read what you put your name on.
Yes. Everything sounds wonderful.
Yes.
But yeah, there are so many instances where people have signed stuff, but then and companies will like put them up in hotels, and companies will pay for this and blah 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 blah. But in their contract, they have to pay all of that.
Yeah, it's all need to be recouped.
So they can have a huge album, and yet the record company is like, Same with K-pop actually. Random. So when you're a trainee, you some of the companies once you debut, you have to pay them back all of that. All of that time and money that they invested you.
Every single cent.
Yeah, there are some K-pop idols that have been out forever, have huge records, but are still living in like the dorms and stuff. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. I was just listening to this podcast. Side note, again, we love music history and all that stuff. I was listening to this podcast, and on the podcast, the group that was being interviewed is this group called The Whispers, which is a legendary R&B soul group from the US. And they were talking about how some of their biggest songs like "And the Beat Goes On," da, 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 and you know, their other songs, freaking what's that other song that they're really famous for? Because you would know it.
The name sounds so familiar, but
there's so many. Oh my God, The Whispers have so many songs, but there's another song that's specifically from the 80s that was huge. Anyways, they only got, so when you get paid by record labels and stuff, it is always different. But during that time, you would get points on an album. So out of 100 points, you would get a certain amount. They got 8 points.
Oh, wow.
So they were getting 8 cents out of every dollar. Okay. So they were talking about how they would sell. Literally, they were looking at, is it not a writer? Whatever it's called, where it shows like the documentation of all their finances and stuff.
Yeah.
They sold over $100 million worth of albums, and each member took home about $3,000. So this record company is making hundreds of millions off of sales alone, never mind touring and all that.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's crazy. And that's basically what was happening with NSYNC.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but they were able to get out of that deal. They ended up releasing their second album, No Strings Attached, which had the massive hit Bye 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 and It's Gonna Be Me and This I Promise You. And that album made history, selling 2.4 million copies in 1 week, and eventually got beat by Adele with her album 25, which ended up selling 3.4 million in a week. So Adele currently holds the record, which is dope.
Yep.
So in addition to a host of Grammy nominations, NSYNC has performed at the World Series, the Super Bowl, and the Olympics, and they've recorded and sang with a whole list of other artists.
Oh yeah.
And in 2002, NSYNC said that they were going to be on a temporary hiatus.
Was it that long ago?
It was in 2002. It was after the third album, Celebrity, came out.
Okay.
And going back to that second album, No Strings Attached, definitely listen to It Makes Me Ill. That song, that whole album reminds me of EXO, but specifically It Makes Me Ill. If you listen to that sound gives me EXO all day.
Gotcha.
So definitely listen to It Makes Me Ill on No Strings Attached. And on their third album, Celebrity, definitely listen to Doing Your Thing. That sounds it's the last song on the whole album. That sounds just like EXO, in my opinion. It's just like that vibe. I was like, ooh, okay.
Nice.
And the group's official website ended up shutting down in the summer of 2006. And then in 2007, Lance Bass confirmed that the group had officially and definitely broken up. Mm-hmm. The only other time they've ever gotten back together was when Justin Timberlake received the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award at the VMAs. And it was the first time they had all performed together in over a decade.
Wow.
And they performed Bye Bye Bye. So yeah, definitely check out NSYNC.
Yeah.
They definitely remind me so much of EXO. The differences, but their blend, and there's just something that was very special about NSYNC compared to every other boy group.
I was going to say the same thing, because as we were talking about, when we were talking about Monsta X and you had said Backstreet Boys, and like I said, my initial reaction was, you know what I mean? Like, because I was just not into boy bands at that time or whatever. But NSYNC was something special. Like, I don't think I ever owned like an album or whatever. But I
did. Hardcore.
I definitely watched the videos and I knew the songs, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, there was something really special about NSYNC. Yeah.
NSYNC definitely,
yeah.
NSYNC was it for me. Like, I loved both groups, but NSYNC was it. NSYNC had more of an urban edge. And I think that's what makes me think of EXO, is that EXO has a lot of soul, like urban, like that whole gritty, soulful, like almost like singing on the corner with your homeboys type of like vibe. Like, and that's what NSYNC was to me, because I felt like Backstreet Boys was more like poppy.
Yeah. Yep.
Whereas like definitely like NSYNC was like, especially by that third album, they had that song, Girlfriend. I want you to be my girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was just like hardcore, just.
Yeah. I know, I'll have to go back and listen to some NSYNC now. Reminisce about my middle school days.
Yes! Oh, listen to Girlfriend. Yeah, that's actually a really good one too. Girlfriend by NSYNC.
Nice.
Sounds just like EXO.
That's awesome.
So, and we did our little Say What section earlier. We switched it up, but we can.
I know, that's right, because it's our podcast.
Period.
What can we say?
Okay.
But we couldn't do any of this without you.
Yes,
you know, we love you. We appreciate all of your support. And definitely give us some more suggestions. Suggestions. Why can't I say those words?
Suggestions. Some suggestions.
For EXO, because boy, do they have a lot of stuff. So
yes, they do.
We kind of don't know where to start.
I think they got like 7 albums out or something, like six at the time of the video being made.
So, yeah, we're excited for sure to get into some more. So leave us some suggestions. I want to check out Growl because, like I said, I've seen dance covers of it, but I've never watched them do it. Ooh, we could do that and then watch the ATEEZ cover. It's so good. I love it. My ATEEZ. Anyway, thank you guys. We love you. We'll
guys
see you soon.
much.
Bye.
Bye.